the fall to come.
I was in Arizona visiting my daughter for Thanksgiving in Phoenix, and last week it was 92. So we brought our bathing suits and everything.
Did the temperature thing? Admit. 80 said I was too cool.
It's not working.
I could have told it. I could have told you that. Could have
That's
told
a
you
lie.
that.
I think it's affecting his sense of humor.
Wow.
Oh.
So we're just gonna pile on, huh? Okay. I see how it is.
God.
You can't see my facial expression.
That's about the only good thing about this area.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's a big plus.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you
This is City of Beaumont City Council in closed session, and today is Tuesday, December 1st, 2020, and I will call this
So Nicole, the only
meeting
thing I didn't do for them was
at 5:02. Roll call, Nicole, please. Can you hear us? Nicole, can you do a
no.
roll call,
realize we were
please?
live.
He's still muted. There you go. Nicole?
Do you want me to
roll
send
call.
you a reminder to unlock the building, or did you do that already?
We're live.
Okay.
Nicole, can you do a roll call, please?
I love this technology, you can tell.
Okay. we
Nicole, they're
got-
calling for you, but I don't think you're hearing them. They're going to check the connection.
Nicole, can you hear us?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Do a roll call, please.
All right. Councilmember White,
Here. Here.
Councilmember Martinez,
Here.
Councilmember Carroll. Mayor Pro Tem Lara,
Here.
Mayor Santos.
Here. Good. Is there any public comment on this session?
Carrie,
Nicole?
do we have anyone on the line?
No callers on the line.
Okay, very good. City Attorney, Mr. Picnic, can you read the items for closed session, please?
Yes, the council will be meeting in closed session. Item number 1 is conference with legal counsel regarding pending and potential litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, 2, and/or 3. And that involves one case, Tally Aguirre versus the City of Beaumont. And the second item is conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. City designated representative, City Manager Todd Parton, and Administrative Services Director Carrie Mendoza. Employee organizations are the Beaumont Police Officers Association and the SEIU. And the third item is a conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2 and/or 3. And that is one potential case, and that relates to an officer-involved shooting that occurred on November 22nd, 2020. And those are the closed session items for this evening.
Thank you, John. If nothing in there, I will adjourn this at 5:05. didn't know that.
No, I did
I did not. Nicole, can you hear us? Nicole, I think you're on mute. Can you hear us?
say first.
I can hear you, Edgar.
Okay.
Can you hear Nicole?
It's off.
I can hear you, Christine.
Yeah, I don't think Nicole said something a minute ago, but now she's not saying anything or reacting at all.
She's muted. She almost seems frozen.
I can see her eyelids moving.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, I saw blinking.
I have glasses
Can you
on,
hear us?
Carrie.
I have my contacts in, but legit, now she's moving. I'm all legit. She was like frozen on my screen.
Disembodied voices.
There you go. Hey, Nicole, can you hear us? Can you hear me? No, he's not responding. There you go.
John, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Council, can you hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay,
Okay, thanks.
very good. Okay. Okay, this is City of Beaumont. This is the City Council regular session. We're back from the closed session. And I will call this meeting to order at 6:57. Roll call, please, Nicole.
Councilmember White,
Here.
Councilmember Martinez,
Here.
Councilmember Carroll,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara,
Here.
Mayor Santos.
Here. Thank you. Okay, City Attorney, Mr. Pickney, could you read out from the closed session, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Item number 1 from closed session was conference with legal counsel regarding pending and potential litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, 2, and/or 3. One case, Tally Aguirre versus City of Beaumont. No reportable action was taken. Item number 2, conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. City designated representative, City Manager Todd Parton, and Administrative Services Director Carrie Mendoza, the employee organizations, the Beaumont Police Officers Association and SEIU. There was no reportable action taken in closed session. Item number 3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2 and/or 3. One potential case, there was no reportable action taken on that item, and that concludes the report out from closed session.
Thank you, John. Okay, we will go ahead and everybody's presence on the City Council. City Manager Todd Parton, can you do the pledge of allegiance for us, please? Allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, very good. Approval and adjustment to the agenda or any conflict of interest on the disclosure on this? Are we going to do the announcement, recognition, proclamation, correspondence, Todd? No? Okay.
Well, Mayor, Council, it's my sad honor to present a changing of the guard with regard to our city council tonight. I'm going to take this off. We do have a council member who is decided that she is going to pursue other things, potentially have a little bit more fun in life. I'm not sure, Mrs. Carroll, what you're going to do without some of your city council distractions, but I thought it'd be very important to take a moment to talk about some of the highlights of the things that have occurred through the 6 years that you have committed to serving this community. You stepped into Beaumont at a very unprecedented time. I think unprecedented for the city, unprecedented for Southern California, and maybe beyond, maybe throughout the universe. The city faced some very important challenges. Many of you up here on the dais tonight have been part of that history yourselves. And so, this is really a legacy that belongs to Mrs. Carroll and to the council. And when you look back over 6 short years, it's amazing what has been accomplished, and you as a key member of that. So 2 years, 2014 through 2016 as the city's clerk, and then the next 4 years as a city council person, including a year as mayor. So there's quite a lot of history that's there. So you've been here as part of the council that's overseen major administrative changes. We have a major shift with regard to administration, staffing, processes, protocols. It's a major revamp that has occurred. We've seen the resolution to major challenges that were threatening the fiscal, financial stability of this community to the edge of bankruptcy. WCARG settlement agreement, SEC, cease and desist, the state controller's investigation, FBI investigations, criminal investigations, state investigations. All those things were happening layered upon one another through time. Major settlement agreements resolving the things we know about, but also various other matters that were there. Restructuring the city's financings, bringing transparency, serving on the Finance and Audit Committee, helping really being the genesis of creating the Finance and Audit Committee that created citizens in a role of supervision and oversight of city finances. Very, very critical. Putting us on the road to a CAFR. We are going to have a CAFR very soon. So the objective is, ma'am, to get that done next year. So wish we could have done that this year. But fiscal sustainability policies, looking at fiscal management, structuring, forecasting, all those things have been critical to all of it. And I think another major calling card, you hear a lot of times that cities never cut taxes, cities never cut rates. You and this council have gone through a process to provide relief through our CFD program, restructurings, refinancing, looking for savings that have touched nearly every single CFD property owner that's subject to an assessment in this community. Developing the city's first ever true 5-year capital improvements plan, looking at the city's strategic need for infrastructure, and even more than that, how are we going to finance it? And finding and identifying legitimate pots of money to make those things happen. And then implementing many major capital projects. And some of those highlights would be the Potrero Interchange Phase 1, the design of Phase 2, which we're now pursuing funding to get that taken care of. The wastewater treatment plant and construction. As mayor, we took you all the way up to San Francisco. We met with Standard & Poor, and we went through a rating process, which we achieved A rating status, and secured financing, which no one said we could do. So that was a major accomplishment in getting through and getting those things done. The West Side Fire Station, getting land secured, getting the design done, and we're out to bid in that process right now, and we're securing final adjustments on the property that we need. Major road rehabilitation that we implemented, I guess we're in our second year of that. We've got a program that's starting now. There'll be another program that comes a little bit later this year. Rangel Park improvements, getting the first phase of that done with the brand new facility that's there, getting funding established, and we're moving forward with design to rehab the rest of that park. It's a critical, critical piece. The Oak Valley Parkway traffic signal, the project that did finally come to conclusion. That was one of endurance, shall we say. And launching major economic development initiatives, from developing the EDSP to launching the RFP to proceed forward with a sales tax recruitment strategy, the result of bringing Wolverine and getting that open and getting expanded, CJ Foods, getting them here, getting them established, getting them moving, and now producing and expanding themselves, and Amazon getting that project in, getting things done, and getting that project moving forward in a very, very quick time frame. So you have been here, and you've been a key element to a very tumultuous and challenging time. Your guidance and your efforts have made the world of difference to everyone in Beaumont today, and will make the world of difference to generations in Beaumont into the future. So with that, we've got a small token. I would normally bring you up here, but for COVID, I'm not going to do that. But let me read it. It says, Nancy Carroll, in appreciation of your leadership in pursuit of elevation for the City of Beaumont as the City Treasurer 2014 to 2016 and City Council Member 2016 to 2020. So our community is very grateful. Thank you for all you've done.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you all. There are chocolates in there too, right? Okay. I don't want to hold the meeting up. I didn't know that this was going to happen. Todd, you're one of the finest people I've ever worked with. And I've worked with a lot of really good people. So I so much appreciate working with you. And the same is true for so many of the other staff members, chief, deputy chief. I mean, it's, you know, we're a totally different organization than when I decided to keep myself busy. So, and I mean, this is a team that's been there from the very beginning. Back when you went to the grocery store and all you heard was complaints about how stellar we were in the dishonesty market. And we've come so far. I couldn't be prouder of this city, truly. Our leadership before was based on just growth and a few other things. And now the leadership of this community that comes from this room and this building, it's not just this room, has just really polished the gem to the point where we truly are the leaders that we really need to be in the Pass area. And it couldn't have been done without everybody in this room. And with that, I'll just shorten it and leave it at that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, we'll move on the public comments period and items not on the agenda. Due to the current circumstances, we are encouraging members of the public to maintain participation in our meetings by using the following options: email comments, phone-in comments, and in person subject to the applicable health orders all of the details of this option can be found in the front of the agenda and will be displayed on your screen throughout the meetings. Do we have any public comments on here? Nicole?
Mayor, I believe that there's someone in the audience that would like to speak.
Yes, I've got a
Yes,
request
there's
from a
one.
Thomas Medina to speak.
Should I take my mask off? No?
It's
It's up to me?
It's up
Okay.
to you.
Okay, my name is Thomas Medina. I'm here to address the council and the city manager on a situation that I have where I live at in the south side of Beaumont, a project that's being street grading with Mr. Ortiz's company he has down there. He's gonna be grading the street on Olive Street and between 4th and 2nd Street. And the way they're gonna be grading it to have the water flow down into my property, which is at the end of the street, I'm gonna end up with a lot of erosion problems that I'm not very happy with. I already have enough erosion problems on my property right now with a project that was approved by the city back in the late 80s, early 90s with the Baldy brothers. And I don't need any more erosion going. I don't need to have my property eroded any more than what it is right now. I'm hoping to have you, the council and the city manager, go and visit me and so I can explain this situation that I'm in right now. I don't want you to try and visualize it. I want you to go see what it's all about because it's. I'm going to end the way they have it right now. The way Robert, the engineer named Robert, what was his name? Vesto. I thought he worked for the city. I guess he doesn't. But that engineer went down there and explained to me what they're going to be doing. And there's just no way I want that water running through my property the way they have it planned. There's an old drainage ditch that was in there, has been there since I bought the property back in the 70s, and just needs to be cleaned out. And the city used to do it back in the 70s and 80s. Unfortunately, it finally clogged up and all, but it's still there. If Mr. Ortiz or whoever the city decides to clean it out and all, and right now it actually drains into, I don't know the name of that creek or whatever it's called.
Cooper's Creek.
Cooper's Creek. And so if you're able to go down and visit with me down there and I'll show you what I'm talking about, I would greatly appreciate it because I do need a lot of help down there. That's about it. Any questions?
Very good. Thank you.
Got it.
Do you have any questions, Council? I think we're good.
Good.
Thank you, Tom. Nicole, is there anybody else?
I have no written comments for this portion. Carrie, do we have anyone on the line?
No callers on the line.
Okay, if there's none, we will just go ahead and do the consent calendar.
Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you asking the city manager to look into the issue that was
I just,
presented
you
today?
know, probably he did reach out to them already on that. Council Martinez?
Yes, I'll follow up with Mr. Medina.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Very good, yeah. Thank you, Tom. Okay. Okay, let's move on the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are taken as one action item unless an item is pulled for further discussion here or at the end of action items. Approval of all ordinances and resolution to be read by title only. Are there any items that need to be pulled for discussion, Council? Okay. Any public comments on this, Nicole?
I have
On
no
the,
written
consent?
comments. Carrie, do we
Okay.
have anyone on the line?
No one on the line.
Okay, very good. I need a motion.
Mayor, I'll
on,
make a
go
motion
ahead.
to approve the consent calendar, items 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'll do roll call. Councilmember White,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez,
Yes.
Councilmember Carroll,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara,
Yes.
Mayor Santos.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, let's move on the public hearings, approval of all ordinances and resolution to be read by title only. That'll be item number 5, hold a public hearing and authorize CDBG funding request for 2021 to 2022 program year. Staff report, Ms. Taylor.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Before you this evening is a request to hold a public hearing and authorize CDBG funding request for the 21-22 program year. As you know, each year the city applies for community development block grant funding through the County of Riverside. This year, our estimate for all programs is approximately $163,900. In previous years, the city has funded approximately $20,000 in nonprofit requests, with that amount varying periodically, but it usually averages around $20,000 a year. And the city then retains the rest for citywide and neighborhood improvement projects. This year, as it was last year, the minimum CDBG award for any individual program is $10,000. The proposed application that's sent through the county for CDBG funding is divided into 2 sections. The first section is for nonprofit application requests, and the second one is for city programs. This year, the city received only 1 application from a nonprofit program, and that was for the Boys and Girls Club of the San Gorgonio Pass. They're requesting the amount of $20,000 to fund the Camp Kids program. The program does consist of summer camp, Thanksgiving, winter, spring, and programs provided through various locations throughout the city. The funds are typically used for scholarships for families that can't afford the full cost of the programs. The public improvement project request is the city's application for CDBG funding. And for the 21-22 funding cycle, the city would like to propose doing improvements, including rehabilitation of existing streets. And I believe that will include some ADA ramps and things like that in the downtown area that need to be addressed. Planning staff, community development staff, and public works staff work together to prepare the application for the city's request for CDBG funding that is attached with the staff report. In previous years, the city council had identified the funding priorities for CDBG funds, which include infrastructure improvement, recreation improvements, youth and after-school programs, and support services. Staff has reviewed the applications, and the applications do meet the city's funding priorities and eligibility for CDBG funding. At this time, staff is recommending that council hold a public hearing and approve and authorize staff to submit a CDBG application for the Boys and Girls Club of San Gorgonio Pass in the amount of $20,000, and also approve the city's application and allow staff to file the application for Beaumont Street sidewalk and ADA ramp improvements. I'm available if you have any questions.
Okay, very good. Before we do the public hearing, I will open the public hearing at 7:18. Is there any public comment on this, Nicole?
Yes, I do have a written comment.
Okay.
Sorry, while I'm pulling that, Carrie, do we have anyone on the line?
No one on the line, Nicole.
Okay, very good. So I'll close.
Oh, sorry, I do have a written comment.
Oh, you got a written comment? Okay, good.
Yes.
Go ahead,
This is
Nicole.
from Megan Grisham from the Boys and Girls Club. My name is Megan Grisham, and I am the Director of Operations for the Boys and Girls Club of the San Gorgonio Pass. I am writing to you today in support of Camp Kids, which is absolutely a necessary program within our community. The program has always been a saving grace to many working parents as Camp Kids offers all-day support for outside of school time, unlike our regular before and after school programs. However, this year the program was beyond a convenience. It was a source of survival for many families. As essential workers were called back to work, they faced the scary idea of where they could send their own children. They needed a safe and trusted place for the children to go at a time when just about everything is uncertain. Our organization and caring staff were able to step up and help the city of Beaumont. We were able to serve kids safely yet again. The Boys and Girls Club of San Gregorio Pass is respectfully requesting a grant of $20,000 to support the Camp Kids program, whether it be another year of modified schedules, hybrid, or back to normal life. The club will always work to be adaptable and fit our children's needs. The success and necessity of the program is immeasurable for the youth in our community and for many members. It is the only fair shot they have to grow and learn. This past quarter, we have brought a sense of normalcy for over 60 youth who have benefited from the Camp Kids program, with over 20 members coming from low-income households. The pandemic has created uncertainty and unfamiliar fluidity, with many families facing the stress of work from home orders, job losses, longer work hours for some, virtual schooling, and so much more. The Boys and Girls Club programs have allowed for families to continue to work through the pandemic, both mentally and physically, while the children attend a safe and socially distant environment that allows youth to socialize, receive good character education through thoughtful courses, work on STEM projects, and create beautiful pieces of art, while learning about the elements that's important artists throughout history. They have been able to explore the United States, other countries and cultures, exercise, and they receive the help they need to navigate virtual school, turn work in on time, and understand concepts taught. Most importantly, we have found that the Boys and Girls Club, with the social emotional development of the kids who are attending, as many of them are fearful of this pandemic and without being in school. They have few adults outside their homes whom they can talk. Our staff lend a thoughtful ear and offer support and encouragement. Since running the camp in May, we have successfully helped kids become on track and ahead in their virtual learning. They have helped families obtain IEPs while working through a liaison through parents and teachers, helped members build confidence in reading, writing, math, socialization, and have created infectious culture of being kind. This year has unfortunately brought a huge amount of stress, uncertainty, and loss to many of our residents. In a time where people need others to turn to organizations like the Boys and Girls Club at the San Gregorio Pass can truly save lives. Thank you for considering us and ultimately helping us reach our mission by serving those who need us most.
Thank you, Nicole.
I have no other written comments.
Okay, very good. So I'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:23. Okay, council, open for discussion. Anyone? You agree on everything? I mean, I have just a quick comment in here, just checking on the application, Christina, on the page 7, or our page is 842, on the financial information. If you do follow that on the financial, I know. I mean.
Okay, yes, sir, I found it.
Okay, good. On the proposed project budget on that, look on the second paragraph of that. The budgeted items are to be a specific activity for which you requesting CDBG funding, not for the budget of the entire organization or agency. Here's the thing. Note, CBDG funds requested must match amount requested in project activity C above.
Yes.
Is that the category C? That's right there on the above that. It says in there, let me read it, proposed job creation, retention, and then down below it says total jobs expected to create, 0, nothing, blank. And then the total job expected to retain 0 blank in there. And I just curious, I mean, why being submitted like this and then there's no job expected to create on this funding?
So I know on some parts of the application, and I would have to look back at my guidelines for application review from CDBG.
Okay.
Not all programs are required to submit information about job creation or retention. I imagine with the Boys and Girls Club, they currently have staff running this program as we funded it before and it's ongoing. And that they would be retaining the staff that they have, or, you know, if there's staff turnover, they do have some funding allocated for staff time. But not every application, depending on the program that is being run, is required to submit the job creation or retention information to County of Riverside.
Okay. Okay, very good. I'm good at that. I mean, I need a motion on this. Anyone?
Yeah, Mayor, I'll make the motion. I make a motion to approve and authorize staff to submit a CDBG application for the Boys and Girls Club of San Gorgonio Pass program. Request of $20,000 subject to the conditions of the CDBG grant program provided by Riverside County EDA. Approve and authorize staff to submit a CDBG application for the City of Beaumont street, sidewalk, and ADA ramp improvements, and additionally give authority to the city manager to reduce or increase the amount of funding to the projects based on the amount of funding available to the City of Beaumont.
I'll second.
Okay.
Councilmember White,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez,
Yes.
Councilmember Carroll,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara,
Yes.
Mayor Santos.
Yes. Good. Thank you,
you.
Christina. Okay, move on the action items, approval of all ordinances and resolution to be read by title only. Item number 6, first amendment to the agreement for maintenance services with John Pro of Ontario Inc. for custodian services. Staff report, Ms. Gibbs.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For this
Good evening.
agenda item, I'd like to turn it over to our Assistant Director, Doug Story, for his presentation.
Mayor and City Council, thank you. Tonight I have a staff report before you, and we are requesting an amendment to an agreement that we currently have with a custodial company who is performing all of our custodial services here at the city. We would like to expand that contract. At the beginning of this fiscal year in July, we made the transition to have some of our building maintenance staff members take on the custodial responsibilities here in the city. So we added that to their workload, and in August, September, we were able to bring on, once things become a little more certain with the funding, we were able to bring on a contractor to perform the custodial here at City Hall, Building B, Building D, the Animal Control Office. They've been performing that contract. It was just over $23,000 for that contract. And we would like to expand that to include now the police department and the PD annex. Those two facilities at the PD are currently being cleaned each day by a city staff member, and we would like to have request this amendment so that we can add those services to the contract and then pay for that for the remaining year. So we would like this contract to go through June 30th of 2021. And this would kind of free up some of our staff to be reassigned to some other units, some other divisions and things that we have going for them, and also continue to get some good cleaning for us. When we brought this contract and we wanted to bring them on, we had all of our custodials that wanted to bid on the project come out, and we did a job walk with them. We talked specifically about what were some of their specifics that they were doing now with COVID-19 and disinfecting hard surfaces and touch points throughout City Hall and throughout our facilities. The company that we ended up going with, Jan Pro of Ontario, really had a comprehensive plan. and really felt that they were going to meet all of our needs that we had to not only clean our facilities, but also to do the best that we can to offer disinfected areas for our staff and for the public as they come in here. So that's what we have before you today. The total contract for PD, both PD facilities and all of the City Hall facilities would be just over $63,000 total. And so that's what we're asking for the amendment now. In August 18th, 2020, City Council, you guys made an amendment to the general fund, and that was able to add $70,000 worth of funds that we wanted to allocate towards the janitorial services, and that's where we'd like to go to cover that. If you guys have any questions, I'd love to answer them for you.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, do we have any public comment on this, Nicole?
I have no written comments. Carrie, do we have anyone on the line?
No callers on the line, Nicole.
Okay, thank you. Council discussion, open. Mr. White?
Yes, Mayor, I have two questions. So this is an amendment of an existing agreement, correct?
Yes, correct.
And what's the termination date of that current agreement? Is that July of 2021?
The current agreement only went through December of 2020.
Okay. So we're extending it, so it's been a 6-month agreement so far, so we're just extending it another 6 months?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Mayor Pro Tem Mike Lara? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just one real quick, I see vehicle maintenance is referenced here. What, is that just to sanitize the interior of the vehicle? Is that what they do for COVID, or?
I'm sorry, say again?
Vehicle maintenance is listed as under attachment B. Or did I go too far?
Councilmember Laura, that is, there's a restroom down at the vehicle maintenance yard in the break room.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
That's to clean and disinfect their restroom and their break room.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Sorry.
No, it's okay. We
You're
just
good,
wanted
Doug.
clarification. Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, very good. Council Martinez?
Yeah, just a couple of quick questions on the table. I was having trouble following the table real fast. So what is the table trying to show us? Is it showing us the additional, the 7,000 and the 2,000?
Yeah.
Can you just kind of summarize
The table
that?
shows that the two numbers for each of the areas are the two costs for what the monthly is. So the top number for City Hall, Building B, Building D, Building G, vehicle maintenance, grounds maintenance, building and wastewater plant. So that's the total cost per month for what it costs to clean each of those facilities. Some of those facilities are cleaned 5 days a week. A couple of those facilities that have a lot less use and smaller staff are cleaned maybe only 3 times or 2 times a week. It just depends. But that's that monthly total. And then we're adding the additional monthly total of the 2,370, and that's to add the 2 PD facilities.
Okay, all right. And then my last question is, this includes COVID cleaning as well?
Absolutely, yeah. And one of the things that was really impressive about this company was some of the additional measures they take for disinfectant and making sure things are really clean.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That's all, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you. You're good?
I'm good. My questions were answered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll ask for, make a motion on this item number 6.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the First Amendment to the Agreement for Maintenance Services with JanPro of Ontario, Inc., and authorize the city manager to execute the amendment on behalf of the city.
I'll second.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez?
Yes.
Councilmember Carroll?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara?
Yes.
Mayor Santos?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Doug. Okay, item number 7. Ratification of contract award to Weber Grading Inc. for emergency debris removal from Marshall Creek storm drain. Staff report, Mr. Hart.
Hi,
See that?
good evening, Mayor, City Council. Yeah, so the item before you is the ratification of a contract for Weaver grading. Obviously, due to the Apple and El Dorado fires, the city of Beaumont is at a heightened risk for mud flow and debris flow in any significant rain events. As these events unfolded and we worked with county emergency personnel, we identified certain areas that are in need of either emergency maintenance or preventative measures in place. And one of those items that we identified was the Marshall Creek crossing at Cougar Way, which I'll share a graphic here if I can, just to kind of give you an idea of where we're talking about. You can see here. So there's an undercrossing here at Cougar Way. It's about 400 feet east of Beaumont. And so there's a double barrel box culvert that goes under here that's no more than 6 feet tall. At the time that we visited this site, it was at least 80% blocked. So of 6 foot height, there was maybe 1 foot of an opening through there, which obviously significantly limits the ability to convey flows. So recognizing that there were some events on the horizon and trying to be protected for this upcoming storm season, we authorized an emergency contract to Weaver Grading to clear that out ASAP to mitigate that hazard. So in accordance with Beaumont Municipal Code, situations determined by the city manager that constitute an emergency or either repair or replacement of public projects pursuant to public contract code, the city council has previously delegated the city manager authority to declare a public emergency and take any immediate action up to a total of $100,000. So as such, the city staff engaged Weaver Grading, whom is the contractor, to provide these services and created a public works agreement for an amount not to exceed $100,000. The work has now been completed and staff was been able to negotiate with the contractor for a final invoice amount of $60,000. And like I say, this has been cleared completely through upstream and downstream to essentially as good as new condition. With that, it is recommended that the city council ratify a public works agreement for emergency maintenance services for clearing debris and material built up under the Marshall Creek storm drain at Cougar Way to Weaver Grading in an amount not to exceed $100,000 and ratify the city manager's execution of the agreement on behalf of the city. I'm available for any questions you may have.
Very good. Thank you. Do we have any public comments on here, Nicole?
I have no written comments. Carrie, do we have anyone on the line?
I do not have any callers on the line, Nicole.
Very good. Thank you. City Council, discussion, Council, on this item? If none, I need a motion. Before you make a motion, I'd like to say, hey, thanks a lot. The mitigation on that bridge. I pass by in there, and then every time I see that, I told that that's really excellent. Cleaning out in there. I thank you on that. Okay, make a motion, please.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to ratify a public works agreement for emergency maintenance services for clearing debris and materials built up under Marshall Creek storm drains at Cougar Way and Weaver Grading, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $100,000, and ratify the city manager's execution of the agreement on behalf of the city.
I'll second.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez?
Yes.
Councilmember Carroll?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara?
Yes.
Mayor Santos?
Yes. Thank you. Item number 8, authorize the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding between the city of Banning, the city of Beaumont, and the California Department of Transportation for coordinated operation of traffic signals on Highland Springs Avenue. Stop report, Mr. Hart again.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm pleased to bring you, this has kind of been a long time coming, but this is an MOU that as stated is between the city of Beaumont, city of Banning, and Caltrans. As you're well aware that we share jurisdiction of Highland Springs Avenue. The center line is the municipal boundaries between both Banning and Beaumont, and we're all obviously significantly impacted by the congestion that we've been seeing on Highland Springs. There are several things that the city is looking at, both near-term and long-term. You know, long-term, I know that you're aware that we're working on a PSR now for an interchange, but those improvements to be online are several years away. So effectively, this MOU will allow us to make a coordinated effort in order to coordinate the signal timing of 6 intersections that either the city of Banning, the city of Beaumont, and Caltrans control. There's a graphic embedded within your staff report that shows those intersections, but just verbally, I'll read those in. It's the intersections at Highland Springs for 8th Street and Wilson, 6th Street Ramsey, the I-10 westbound ramps intersection, the I-10 eastbound ramps intersection, 1st Street / Sun Lakes Boulevard, and 2nd Street, Sun Lakes Boulevard. So the coordinated timing will allow us to help maximize the volume and efficiency of traffic on Highland Springs, you know, especially during peak commutes, which we've really been seeing. One of the things that's an issue and a problem with us is that when we have so many irons in the fire, so to speak, or hands in the kitchen, is different agencies may coordinate their signal timing in different way, and it does not lead to an efficient design. So allowing us to all work together, work with Caltrans, whom can make adjustments to their intersections, which are sometimes not conducive to city traffic flow, but maybe conducive to mainline and or freeway congestion, I think will be a better benefit for all. So on the heels of this, you will see at your next council meeting, there will be a maintenance agreement between the city of Beaumont and city of Banning that will identify the maintenance responsibilities for the signalization of all of these intersections. But as of now, I would like to recommend that the city council authorize the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding between the city of Banning, city of Beaumont, and Caltrans for the coordinated operation of traffic signals on Highland Springs Avenue. I'm available for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Any public comment on this, Nicole?
I have no written comments. Carrie, do you have anyone on the line?
No callers on the line.
Okay, thank you. Council discussion? Anyone? Council White?
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Mr. Pardon or Mr. Hart, I know about a year and a half ago, we started discussing concepts of changing traffic patterns and directions in there. I know it was part of a bigger discussion regarding, I think, widening the other streets and providing more access to the new businesses that are coming in. Is there any part of that, for example, I think the one item that we really need to consider as soon as possible, and I think it would impact what we're talking about here tonight, is the turn lane out of, I don't know what the name of the street is, but in between Taco Bell and the Bank of America, coming out of that shopping center. What's it? We talked about looking at different pattern.
Paseo Beaumont, are we talking about?
Yeah.
The intersection just one immediately west of 2nd Street and Highland Springs.
Is that the Commerce?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not Commerce. This would be, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's Paseo Beaumont, right where the CHP is, kind of bound by CHP.
Exactly. It'd be the one where you go straight. If you go straight, you're right into CHP's office.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So my question, is there any progress on that? Any, you know, where are we on looking at traffic patterns, not just the signalization?
So I can tell you that, so one of the things we've identified that's an issue is there's some loop detection issues with what would be northbound Paseo. If you were trying to either go off of there to make a right on 2nd Street or even go through into, you know, whether it's the Taco Bell, Petco parking lot, is we've had some issues with loops and not picking up a lot of those movements and effectively hampering some of those movements. So we have just recently authorized St. Francis Electric, who's a consultant of ours that does the maintenance for our traffic signals, to install additional loops in that area. I think that will help some of the free-flowing movements for the congestion at that intersection. You know, one of the challenges that we're still going to face that's not going to fix is the proximity of that intersection, obviously, to 2nd Street and Highland Springs. And there's really not a whole lot we can do about that until we start moving traffic more efficiently on Highland Springs. But I do think that this installation of these additional loops on those streets will help mitigate that congestion a little bit.
And for laymen, for someone who just works with computers, what do you mean by loops?
So loops are they're obviously the receptors in the road that detect when vehicles come. So there is an issue, especially if you're either going through or making a right turn when you're going northbound on Paseo, it's not adequately picking up vehicles. So we are either getting reds that sit too long, or we are getting increased congestion from not detecting the vehicles that are there waiting to make whatever turning movements they're waiting for.
Okay, and will the new, the synchronization you're working with along Highland Springs, will that also be synchronized with that light right in the area that we're talking about? Obviously, once you get those other issues addressed?
So yeah, the focus will be, at least as part of this agreement, will just be the synchronization of the 6 signals that have been identified. As a consequence of that, we can certainly, and we will, work with our traffic engineer to maximize the efficiency of any adjacent signals, whether that be, this Paseo Beaumont, or if we would look a little bit further westerly as well. But this would be one that we would certainly, as a result of the timing that we do on Highland Springs, modify this intersection accordingly.
Okay, thank you, that was all.
Thank you. Council Martinez,
Hey,
please.
Just a quick comment. I've always been an advocate for that timing issue. Back when I was mayor last year, Mayor Welch and I used to talk about this at length, and I'm glad to see it's moving forward. Just real quickly on a question, Mr. Hart, the agreement is going to be when they do go off and they're out of sync, who's going to take care of that and so forth? Is that a part of that agreement coming up?
The maintenance, yeah. So the maintenance agreement will identify the responsibility of both us and Banning. And so the maintenance that we bring forth we will have a cost sharing mechanism, and where Banning will recoup, or Banning will repay the city of Beaumont. We will take the lead in any of the maintenance of those, so that we do not have multiple agencies trying to maintain and or work on one signals, and we'll essentially identify the reimbursement mechanism for that to happen.
And that was a major thing you said there, is about taking the lead so we have a single agency in charge. I think that was one of our major issues we dealt with, was that there were so many agencies involved, nothing got done. So I'm glad to see we're taking a proactive approach. So thank you for that. And thank you for this.
Yeah, you're welcome. And just as a further point is, so we will also utilize this as an opportunity to ensure that all the signals, and so we've got future signals coming online as well, as you're aware, that as Part E expands on the other side of Highland Springs. So we want to make sure that we take advantage of this opportunity to identify the maintenance responsibilities of all these signals on Highland Springs.
That's a good point. Appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor.
Very good.
Well, I'm
Go
ready
ahead.
to make a motion also, if nobody else has a comment.
You're good?
I'm good. My questions are answered.
Okay.
I just, I will say that this is a big step forward.
Yep.
I do hope that we keep an eye on the feeder streets to Highland Springs as the new businesses open up and things change, when we are able to get back to normal, because residents won't be any happier if we just push some of the problems off of Highland Springs onto 2nd Street and those feeder roads. So I appreciate this very much, Jeff, and I think it's long overdue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, good job on that, especially on the timing and everything. I just like to make a quick comment on this. Was not mentioned on the Highland Springs is the Josh Palmer. Is that the part of the timing also on this, especially in that intersection?
Yeah, so I would lump that in, obviously, with the westbound ramps, but yes, it will be part of the timing of these intersections.
Very good. Now, I'd like to commend you on the go towards southbound, and the when we opened the turn left on the 1st Street. That was a great additional on the timing on that. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Okay, need
Jeff-
a motion.
Jeff, thank you for taking the lead on this. Appreciate that very much. And with that, I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding between the city of Banning, the city of Beaumont, and the California Department of Transportation for coordinated operation of traffic signals on Highland Springs Avenue.
I'll second that.
Councilmember White,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez,
Yes.
Councilmember Carroll,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara,
Yes.
Mayor Santos.
Yes. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, item number 9, extend contract with Dudek Inc. for groundwater and surface water monitoring services related to the maximum benefits monitoring program for the Beaumont and San Mateo groundwater management zone. Staff report. Oh,
Good evening,
it's not.
council. Yes, this is
I was
to,
looking at, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yes, this is to continue our relationship with DUDEC for our requirement in our permit for groundwater and surface water monitoring for our basin. DUDEC undergoes all the testing of the surface monitoring wells, 55 wells throughout the basins, and then also conducts all of the groundwater testing incorporated with those, related to those. And then furthermore, they do all the testing for the creek sampling all the way down Cooper's Creek, San Mateo Creek, and the tributaries. All this information gets compiled, put together with other basin monitor users, and then gets submitted in an annual report in April. What's before you is a contract to continue services with them. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Taxton. Okay. Any public comment on this one, Nicole?
I have no written comments. Carrie, do we have anyone on the line?
No callers on the line, Nicole.
Okay. Council discussion? If not, need a
Mayor, I'll
motion.
make a motion to extend the contract with DUDEC Inc. for the 2021 maximum benefit report for groundwater and surface water monitoring in the amount not to exceed $52,754.
I'll second.
Councilmember White,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez,
Yes.
Councilmember Carroll,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara,
Yes.
Mayor Santos.
Yes. Thank you, Taxton.
Thank you.
Item number 10, review of local emergency declaration established via the adoption of City of Beaumont Resolution Number 2020-07 adopted on March 17, 2020. Staff report, Mr. Todd Parton.
Thank you, Mayor. I won't run through the same report again. We've made this report to you several different times now. So we still have activated our emergency declaration pursuant to resolution number 2020-07. We do bring this back to council within every 60-day period for you guys to reevaluate and determine whether or not you'd like to keep the emergency declaration in place. So recommendation to council would be to take no action to leave this resolution in place since the pandemic that did lead to this resolution does still remain in effect. So with that, Mayor, Council, turn it back to you.
Thank you, Todd. Do we have any public comments, Nicole?
I have no written comments. Carrie, do we have anyone on the line?
No callers on the line, Nicole.
Very good, thank you. City Council discussion or motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a couple comments.
Comment? Okay.
So I'm in favor of the city staff recommendations today. But what I would like to do is in the next report in 60 days, I don't know if this needs to be a separate agenda item, but you know, we did this back in March thinking we would, maybe 2 months at the most at that time. And we're now 9 months into this. We have situations in our city where there are business owners who are operating in violation of the different rules and orders. And we're basically making, we're really making criminals out of them. We are not, but the forces above us are. And, you know, I'd like to dig into this a little bit more. I'd like to ask questions like, what are the statistics? What are the numbers for Beaumont specifically? What are the numbers for, you know, you read any of the reports about how the infection rate is going way up and hospitals are getting more and more capacity. But every time I look, almost without exception, there's no deeper information. There's information that, capacity or patients have gone up 17%. 17% of what? 17% of 2 is a lot different than 17% of 200. Then we're starting to see some capacity numbers, and how much of the capacity numbers, you never see it broken down by how much is COVID and how much is total capacity. I guess what I'm saying on this is I think that we are into a point, people continually mention the new normal, when are we going to get back to normal? And I don't think we're going to have a new normal or back to normal anytime soon. And I think rather than just every 60 days just saying we're good to go with this, I'd like to get a deeper discussion. Some thoughts I have were to reach out to some of our businesses who are doing what they can to stay out of bankruptcy, even at the risk of violating state orders. We don't know which orders at this point are constitutional or unconstitutional. The legislature has failed to act on a number of the governor's orders. Courts are starting to get involved. I just think it's time that we take a deeper dive into this and reach out to our business community and see what we can provide. I think the business assistance program that we did was a good thing, but in all honesty, $3,000 or however many we gave it was not something that was going to really make a difference. And I think we need to reach out to them. We've seen other cities, especially in the Los Angeles area, where where restaurant owners have gone to follow the rules and do the outdoor dining and putting in investments for the outdoor dining, and then the local electeds there say, well, we're not even going to allow you to do outdoor dining. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if we get to that point, if things continue to go through as winter goes through, and you already have flu and colds and viruses accelerating. I think that's part of what's going on right now. So I would just, again, I'm in favor of what we're doing tonight if the rest of you agree to no change. But I just ask in the next time, I'd like to have a deeper discussion. If it needs to be a separate agenda item, then I would like to make that request.
I think that's a good suggestion in there to have a separate discussion on that. I agree on that. Okay, go ahead.
Mayor, I got a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree. I think we should leave the declaration the way it is now. I look forward to further discussion. I just want to add that any discussion that we have, if we're going to bring in business, we also have to bring in health professionals, because we can't dictate, city policy on business. We have to think about health. I mean, people are dying. So we need to make sure that we have health officials involved so we get their perspective so that we make, informed decisions. If we're thinking of modifying it in any way, we want to make sure that we have that perspective. And as well as the community too. I think we have to be careful. We're still a city that's under a state, and the state has a declaration, and until that's lifted, we don't want to really think about starting to break away from what the state's doing. If the state is wrong, well, that's a whole nother thing, but that's something that's on a different type of a discussion than what I think we are here. I only wish that if we had a better national approach, maybe we would be in a different situation, but, we do what we can do based on what we have. So I look forward to that discussion, but I do support the declaration at this time.
Mayor, may I add on to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I agree with you 100%. I'm surprised you'd left off the labor groups as well. I think everyone should be involved in the discussion. And I mean, it's something that we talk about in a meeting where we have 10 people watching us online and maybe 20 or 30 the following week. But I really think we need to reach out to all of our stakeholders and determine what we're going to do going forward. And I'm not suggesting at all that we're going to go against any orders that are lawfully in place, that we're going to violate any county rules. I just think at some point we have to start saying this is not, there's a new normal coming, and we have to, I think, be proactive with our businesses so we're not caught like other cities are, and so that was my hope.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I agree. I would just perhaps add, as staff reaches out, if they can, to the businesses to get their feedback as to what they need to survive, so that we have a better understanding. I mean, we kind of see what's going on, but I don't think we really realize what it takes to survive through this. That way, if they don't want to come in or they're not comfortable coming in, maybe we can have just information that gives us suggestions on, to help lead the discussion. That's all I have on that. And I agree with the recommended action at this time, and we'll make a motion when everybody's had an
Okay.
opportunity to speak.
I see you have some. You're good. Let me do some comment on here. I mean, go a little bit deeper on what Council White talking about. I mean, we have to do a strategic plan now, especially this coming vaccine, and we have to put that. I mean, if we're talking about the vaccine, what they're talking about is it's coming up within 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. And we have to do the plan, probably they'll go hand in hand on your suggestion on the other plan, because that will affect us on the budget costs on this, or any grant that will be provided during that period, or maybe next year on this. And the distribution system, how are we gonna approach this on the distribution system on this vaccine? And we cannot mandate on our employees or staff or us. We have to do it voluntarily, because there will be a side effect on us on this, especially on the complication on medical. I mean, I know the first one that will benefits on this is the vulnerable, which is the seniors, and we need that. I mean, that's why I think we have to do a strategic plan now on coincide with his on his plan on doing the agenda on that. I would suggest that to go deeper on that, because that will be within 2 weeks that will coming up, or 2 weeks from now. That's all I have.
And Mayor, just to add to that, because we have such a large community of vulnerable,
Yes.
because of our 55
That's
plus
my concern,
communities,
yeah.
I think we need to, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I
Yeah.
think we need to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to be out in front of this, and making sure that things are getting directed to our community, because we do have such a large percentage of
That's correct.
vulnerables. So yeah, good idea, thank you.
Yeah, so we could work out on that together on that.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion. City staff recommends that there be no change to the local emergency declaration. This is due to the fact that there have been no significant changes in the original conditions. State of emergency declaration remains in effect, and local emergency declaration helps to ensure that Beaumont remains eligible for federal and state emergency aid.
I'll second.
Councilmember White,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez,
Yes.
Councilmember Carroll,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara,
Yes.
Mayor Santos.
Yes, thank you. Legislative updates and discussion. Kyle.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you tonight, I have some good news as opposed to my normal report. So the state of California has started some relief funding packages at the state level. So I'm happy to report on that. There are new funding packages that are going to be released soon in terms of grant funds up to $25,000 for underserved small businesses, nonprofits, and cultural institutions. And we expect those guidelines and the application package to come out in the next 2 or 3 weeks or so for funding early 2021. Today, California launched a $100 million Main Street hiring tax credit program, which incentivizes hiring select individuals for each business, and each business is granted a $1,000 tax credit up to $100,000 total tax credits if they were able to hire that many people. So we're going to try to put the information out there for that program. They also created a California Rebuilding Fund, which portal started accepting applications last Friday on November 20th. Actually, the time before that. And that's a public-private partnership that drives capital from private, philanthropic, and public sector resources. And really, it's funding through the California iBank, and that interested small business owners can find that information on those types of loans at www.caloanfund, all one word, .org. On the federal level, there was some discussion and some guidance produced by the Internal Revenue Service, or IRS, on the Paycheck Protection Program. Many businesses and owners received funding through that federal program as part of the CARES Act. And there's been some guidance released on the validity of not claiming that dollar amount on your taxes for this fiscal year. So I urge anyone that has that, and we'll probably be putting it on our Business Resource Center, the information on that tax guidance, to not claim that additional income on their taxes. It should be tax-free. Additionally, at the federal level, due to the changing of the guard, if you will, at the presidential level, and then certain things happening in Congress, there has been rumors, which I'm not saying that it's 100%, but there are rumors that earmarks or appropriations, possibly a better term, for individual projects at a city level or a county level may be returning this next presidential cycle. So we're keeping track of what's happening on earmarks and appropriations at the federal level, and we plan on putting together packages similar to what we've done in the past, prioritizing regional transportation projects, hopefully to be able to go our congressmen with a contingent group of staff, council, and hopefully business members through the community to lobby for federal funding to help out on our regional transportation projects. And then lastly, hot off the presses, and I just received this at, 5 o'clock today. The governor in California, Governor Newsom, announced a release of a California master plan for early learning and care. And that is intended to aid in childcare, providing universal preschool for 4-year-olds, and some other assistance for daycare facilities in terms of bolstering their capacity and encouraging their expansion to provide care for the youth throughout the state of California. And then back to the federal level, I know I've talked about the Phase 4 stimulus package a couple different times. You have the certain sides with their own stimulus packages, if you will. But there was a new one that came out today, which was proposed by a bipartisan group of lawmakers, totaling almost $1 trillion, so $908 billion, is hopefully a compromise measure, and we'll see if that new one that the bipartisan group has worked on in Honest is going to gain some traction. That one of interest to us at a local level does include $160 billion for state and local governments. Unsure exactly what that means as it trickles down to like the city of Beaumont, but it's definitely encouraging to see bipartisan support in terms of a Phase 4 relief package. And that concludes my report for tonight. Thank you.
Very good, Kyle. Thank you. Do you have any question to Kyle? Okay, let's move on. Thank you, Kyle. Council reports. Nancy Carroll.
Well,
Up to the last minute, man. I'll give it to you.
Tomorrow I chair an RTA meeting, and that I anticipate probably will be my last RTA meeting. RTA, at the board meeting, they're doing some creative strategies going forward with public transportation, such as looking at microtransit with using dial-a-ride on a requested basis, kind of like an Uber, and with sort of bus stop to bus stop travel. It won't be door to door, but they're trying to be more progressive and cost effective in what they can do for dial-a-ride citizens, which is a lot of our community, because a lot of the dial-a-ride is senior citizens, and Uber can't provide transportation for them sometimes because they need an adapted bus or an adapted vehicle that can transport them. So they're looking at that, and they're looking at some other microtransit ideas, which will be good information for us going forward. And they are also, at the end of this month, the board has approved putting forward a plan for RTA to begin to go towards hydrogen as a zero emission fuel on their larger buses. And I had a one-on-one with CEO Larry Rubio on whether that will impact Beaumont in any way as the regulations go in place. And I transferred that information to the city manager. And Beaumont will not be impacted by most of the early state requirements for zero emission in terms of having to go in the hydrogen direction. Their smaller cutaway buses will be able to go to potentially electric zero emissions in the future, but that technology is not there yet, and we're a smaller transportation agency. So we kind of dodged the bullet on having to belly up to some of the state requirements that are going to be rolled into place beginning in 2028. So, so that information was shared, but one of the things that I want to make sure I leave the council with, which I also shared with the city manager, is that Mr. Rubio suggested that we consider making sure we potentially have space for hydrogen in addition to our CNG at some time going forward, because there's a lot of discussion that fleets such as Waste Management, Edison, other fleets like that, trucks that go by, of course, on the highway, might be going in the direction of hydrogen also in the future. So it might be something in terms of long-term planning that we make sure that we keep in mind for our facility, to make sure we have space for it. We might not have to do anything else other than just making sure that we have it in mind in terms of planning for the long term. So that's it. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Councilor Carroll. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Mike Lara.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just would like to thank the staff, especially Heather and Chris, for their dedication and the hard work that they put in to put the Thanksgiving meals together. I believe there was 90, or we put together 100 meals and 97 were delivered. Just the dedication and the generosity of the city staff is it's exciting to see. I'm very proud to be a part of. And Miss Nancy, it has been a pleasure these last 6 years working with you and seeing the dedication that you have given to this city for the betterment. You've been great to work with, and I will miss you and appreciate everything that you have done. Thank you very much, Nancy. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Martinez.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo that sentiment for the community services. It was just a great feeling when you're delivering and you feel that appreciation from the public about what you're doing, and it all goes back to just the dedication of the volunteers and the staff and everybody involved. And it's really a great feeling to have that kind of cooperation going on and getting such a positive result from that. So thank you for all of those that were involved in that. And then I wrote up a little something for Nancy, just something short. And I just want to say to Nancy that, you know, I've had the pleasure of working with Nancy Carroll for over 6 years. When I was city clerk, Nancy was city treasurer. We walked into a city service at the time, darkest time in Beaumont's history. It was during this time that I discovered her true commitment to the people of Beaumont, and I've witnessed it ever since. She is a champion for transparency, especially fiscal transparency. She always knows the right questions to ask. She's extremely professional. She has an extraordinary work ethic, and I don't know of a more knowledgeable individual in so many aspects. I want the public to know that much of what Beaumont has accomplished is the result of Nancy Carroll being your representative. Nancy, you've been an invaluable asset to the city, and you will truly be missed. Thank you for your service.
Appreciate that.
Very good. Council White.
Yes, I unfortunately did not able to make it to the delivery of the meals, but I did sign my family up today to be part of the judging of the Christmas lights.
Oh,
Yeah, you're on.
Which, if you haven't done that before, it's quite an adventure.
Yeah.
Nancy, you and I have known each other longer than anyone else in this room, I think. We got together
That's probably true.
7 years ago, almost 7 years ago, at the first time I ever met you. I was at a Cherry Valley and Neighbors CVAN meeting, and you were up there all excited about this crazy warehouse that was coming in. And then I got to know you then, and we spent some time commiserating, you more strategizing than myself on how we were going to make changes, what we were going to do. And then I came in as council member in 2014, and you came in as a treasurer. First thing you did was you revitalized and recreated the treasurer position. I think you took it from a position before that was just, I'll be careful here, but it was just rubber stamped, and it was not a role that really was looking out for the community and for the people. You played a critical role when you and I sat on the first committee to bring a internal controls audit to Beaumont, and that led to the exposure of the corruption that we had spoken about, and it I think resulted in the first what's the word I'm looking for? The first brick to fall. And it also what we accomplished in that committee was to provide the city with the kind of evidence and information that we needed to move forward and make a strong case. You and I haven't always agreed on issues. I don't think that's a secret. You've been very determined and passionate about your issues. I don't believe that you're not going to be around. I know your transportation issues and your veterans issues are things that you still plan on working on, even though you're not in an official role on council. I can't imagine you're going to be a stranger to City Hall for very long. So, and I agree with everyone else. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and I wish you luck in what you do
Thank you.
post-council.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Very good. Now I'll just go ahead and straightforward to, on Nancy. Nancy, I mean, you're a true friend. I mean, you brought me on this council back in 2016, and then there was, there's 16, I remember there was 16 applicants or candidates on being on the audit, council on this. I mean, I applied and everything. And I could remember I was sitting in there and standing, and you're guiding us who's next and everything. I said, "Who's this lady?" I mean, and then she's so particular and everything. I said, and then I learned that she's
Now,
the
be
treasurer.
nice, be nice.
No, it's straightforward. I mean, and she is very trustworthy, honest, and straightforward person, and that's the thing that I stick with the council, and she's the one who encouraged me because out of 16, there's 5 of that, part of that committee, and I was picked. And, and I know, I could mention some of the names, Elena, over there, Diane, and Jennifer. And then from there, I mean, you guys, you received the state audit and everything, and there was 100 findings against the city. I said, "Whoa, this is the thing I like." I mean, because being in accounting and everything, whoa, this is cool. So she came by and everything, and then said, "This is the thing that you have to tackle." I said, "That's good." So from there, we sat down and everything, and there was a lot of duplication of that state funding findings. So there's 3 on the committee. One is who leads us is Nancy Carroll, and from there, people doesn't know that we meet almost every day to tackle that findings to present it to the council. You guys, I mean, you're in the council and everything, and different council members in there, but Nancy was always on top of it. And that's why I learned from there. I mean, and then I learned individually, the council and everybody. This is a wonderful, wonderful council members in here. I wish, Nancy could stay with us forever and everything. I mean, I know that's impossible, but I really appreciate that your professionalism and being really a true friend. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. Mayor, could you extend me just 1 minute to just respond?
Go ahead.
I would very
Go
much
ahead, Nancy.
appreciate it. I promise, guys, it'll be short. When I ran for treasurer, I didn't really have, I had the same desire as Councilmember White, Mayor Pro Tem Laura, and Councilmember Martinez to see what I could do to fix the city, which you joined us later. But I didn't run for council because even though we all wanted to do what we could to fix the city, I didn't think any of you were going to be elected. The city had been under such a cloud for so long. I was very much afraid. As much as I wanted to make bigger changes by being on council, I was afraid none of you were going to get in and that we were going to have the same situation that we'd had for a while. So I did the short thing in my mind, which was nobody paid attention to treasurer. So I ran for that because I figured once I got in, nobody could say you can't look at those numbers. I had already researched the state code, et cetera. So we were all the same in spirit. And that's why I say it, without the team that's in this room, the changes would not have happened. And Mayor Pro Tem Laura, I didn't know you at all. So, we sort of like walked around each other and weren't sure we trusted each other for a little while. And then I watched, and I was really, really heartened by how much you cared about making sure that the city got righted. And I very much appreciate that. And of course, Councilmember White, yeah, we talked in the kitchen about all the things that we thought were wrong and all the things we might be able to do about it. And then you're correct, after the state controller's report, that was pretty mind-boggling. We knew it was bad, and seeing it on paper was pretty intimidating. So then I called the state controller's office after we got that report and said, you told us we didn't have any money. So why are you trying to charge us $150,000 for telling us that? So I said, you prove we don't have any money. So they cut the bill in half because they felt we were pretty pathetic, which they said they never did before. So, Julio, I mean, we just, we tried as best we could to try to restore the public belief and transparency and the foundations of giving the public all the information that they needed. So, and then of course, Ray, You just, what would I do without you on finance and audit? I mean, you took the slings and arrows with me, and you made sure you were there all the time. So I thank you all, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, economic development update.
Mayor and Council, no update tonight. We have a committee meeting next Wednesday, so I'll report
yes.
back at the following council meeting.
Thank you, Kyle. City Treasury report. Steve? Oh, no, Barry. Is Barry there?
Steve.
City Treasury report.
Barry's absent this evening.
Oh, absent. Okay. City Clerk report. Steve, your turn.
Thank you. I first want to join with everybody in commending you, Nancy, for your outstanding service over the past 6 years, and you will be missed. Second, and less important, the Public Records Request Monthly Status Report for October. Total of 8 requests. 8 were completed. Staff time allocated a total of 6 3/4 hours. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Steve. Okay. City Attorney report. Mr. Pickney.
Yes, Your Honor. Just briefly, we already discussed in closed session the Tally Aguirre case. So the council's been briefed on that. And then the only other cases that we have pending at this point are Lee versus the city of Beaumont, which is in the discovery phase of the case. And then also, you'll recall that previously we had a case, Peters versus the city of Beaumont, and the city prevailed on a demur in that case, and the court dismissed the action in favor of the city. Well, Mr. Peters filed an appeal, and so that case is now on appeal. So those are the only 2 cases. And then in terms of, those are the only 2 cases where there's a claim, a liability claim being made against the city. And then in cases that the city has pending where it is the plaintiff or in the offensive position, that would be Beaumont versus Urban Logic, Beaumont versus Norton Rose, and then the claim that's pending against AIG. And in fact, there's now a lawsuit that's pending on behalf of WRCOG, and the city's soon to be brought into that case as well. And so that's a report on the pending litigation matters. And then I just also wanted to echo some of the comments. It's been my pleasure over the last 6 years to work with Nancy Carroll as a city treasurer, as a council member, and during her term as mayor. And, I've been practicing law for close to 30 years. And my experience with Nancy was that she has absolute integrity, an incredibly intelligent, articulate person, that she served the community well. And it's been my absolute honor to work with her. So thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Thank you, John. Okay. OB City Manager report. Mr. Todd Parton.
My.
Everybody's waiting for you, man.
So I would tell you that this mask does not smell any better after last week, but I did find out that the Broncos don't need a quarterback. They had the same result, so it doesn't seem to matter. So, just the smell of defeat. One of the key challenges that we're facing in our area right now is SoCal Edison's PSs, power safety shutoffs. And it seems to be an evolving situation that's going on right now. They are saying that coming up over this next week, they're looking at probably the worst windstorm that they've potentially ever seen. So it could potentially affect all of our infrastructure, our sewer plants, our public safety. So we're working hard to be prepared for that, gassing up all of our emergency generators, trying to coordinate back with SoCal Edison. So we'll be reaching out to y'all if we see the need to let you know and advise of more things that are out there. So in your packet, you had the department project report. So just trying to incorporate that and make sure you guys have that. It's a pretty good detailed report. And then I did tell Miss Carol that I had scheduled a very special event in her honor tonight to both thank her and to recognize her for the amazing things that she's done. So, Nicole, would you please help me address that issue?
All right, give me just a second.
Drum roll.
Uh-oh.
Wait, we have to go out.
Finally.
I want to see it.
You are so bad.
How much did that cost us?
I can't,
It was very
joke with you
economical.
about anything.
Still to
So
the
I
next.
told you I had to arrange for a flyover for you, so there you are. We had produced. So
Public
that concludes
flyover.
my report.
I hope they
Thank
had their
you.
masks on.
Okay, future agenda items beside on Mr. Council White. Is there any agenda? Okay, so the next meeting will be on December 15, Tuesday, and I will adjourn this on 8:30.
Ah, we-
8:30.
We met.
I know.
Bakers are still open.
Woohoo. Oh, sorry, I mean,